I'm saying that I'm sure we'll get to the point where RFAs and regions may be bidding to
It's,
host
it,
the
start, it, start, it
All-Star
started. It
Festival.
started. Mike, with this, we've done a lot of difficult things in our lives, but possibly this ranks number one or number two. I don't know how to put it because it gets difficult at this point. This was very difficult to do. It was very, very difficult to do. We struggled a lot to put this together. We didn't have people believing that we could do it. And yes, God never likes to share his glory with man. So even though we prayed, we sought support, we went to people, we were on the verge of failing. Mike, we did everything. There were people who just wouldn't listen to us. Yes, this is business for the BAC group. But you know that for such franchises, for such events, you need to do it a number of years to even talk about breaking even. We're here and we're littered with bills. We're here and we've got debts to pay simply because the sort of support we could have received from people just didn't come. Maybe if we had the media believing in this a bit, and we had corporate Ghana believing in this a bit, maybe things would have been less difficult than they were. So I go back to a thing. I say, okay, yes, no one is obliged to do anything for us. But you see, centrally for us, it is to try and improve this whole business of football. Football business is an industry we all we complain about the things. Oh, and the football is not attractive. Oh, and the league is horrible. Nobody wants to watch the football. People are saying all sorts of things. So we're a consultancy firm, and we say, how can we play in this space and help to improve the attractiveness of the product football, of the product sports? So today we're doing football, but it could be another sport in future because we've got the ideas. We want to play in this space. Michael, this is what we want to do. Okay? So if we see that there are opportunities or there are prospects in this football business, starting with the Football Association, realizing that, okay, our core mandate is to what? Develop, promote, and whatever football. Okay, so that it becomes a bigger industry, for us to have more players, for it to employ more people, for it to bring livelihood to more people. These things contribute to that process. Okay, Mike, these things. Because if we go to a place like Doma Hinkro, or we go to Brong Ahafo, and the thing is promoted, is bigger, the media latches onto it, etc., we will have more people involved in this. When the FIFA World Cup started, it was started by a group of people who formed an association. It's a private thing. Nations didn't have to come together to do that. The Africa Cup of Nations, all of the big events we see the world over, one person has to start it.
Yeah.
You understand? Or one company has to start it. And then when we start and we see the thing is growing, then we can all latch onto it, we can all get on board and see how we can grow it and see, okay, so issues about broadcast rights, issues about merchandising, because this thing we did, Mike, the jerseys they are wearing, you see how good the jerseys look? They were produced here by Mingle. So even if we paid 1 CD, Mingle had something to do. We procured footballs from here. We got water from here. We gave businesses to hotels in Brong Ahafo, even in Accra, because at some point you took Avram to some hotels here to spend the night. With everything we sourced from here. Is that not some form of economical activity taking place? And then also the attractiveness, so that if these guys went to all these places, won't the fans feel a lot more emotionally connected? Won't the fans feel closer? Won't the fans now look forward to another international game involving these boys in the Black Stars team or something? That's how you build it. When the Italians started to move games around, their national team games around, many years ago, nobody was doing that in Europe. The idea was, if they will play all the games in Rome, at the Olimpico, it means that if someone is in the north, Rome is in the south. If someone is in the north, they have to come all the way to the south to watch the game. But how about move it around? And that's what they did. Today, a lot of the national teams are doing so in Europe, even in Ghana. For many years, we're playing our games only in Accra.
Yeah.
But even with all the development we claim we have, games are played in 2 or 3 main venues.
Yeah.
In Accra, in Kumasi, in Cape Coast. Is that not it? We haven't taken games in Tamale for a long time because I'm not sure the pitch is in a good shape. And all these secondary, the stadium is gone. So when we take these people closer, and I learned a lesson yesterday when I was having a conversation with someone with regard to politics. And my understanding is one of the reasons these presidential candidates go to the constituencies is because the constituents who are delegates believe that they are so important that the politicians must come to them. The presidential candidates must come to them. So you've got to go to the constituencies to make that happen. It's the same thing with football. Let's take these guys closer to the communities where they come from. Many of them came from these places. And it will even serve as an inspiration to younger people from there that, this guy came from this far place, with all due respect. And today it's at this level. So it is possible. That is all we are saying.
But what has been the major challenges put in this?
It is support, Michael. It is. We're not saying people should dole out money to us. But like you, the media, listen, we got to this, we got to a point. And the media houses in this country, I've been doing this I was doing media more than 20 years ago. And their media personnel, young men, young women, who didn't give 20, didn't care about this whole thing. And then we put money and brought people like Avram here. And they were all over the place chasing us to have interviews with these guys. Yeah, because Avram is a hot sensation now.
Yeah.
He qualified Zambia back to the Cup of Nations for the first time in 8 years. The last time they played in it was in 2015. And we had media people chasing us that they wanted interviews with Avram. If we had not paid money to fly Avram here on business and put him in a hotel, maybe you get to do that. Somewhere else you need to spend money. You need to spend money to fly to Zambia or to fly to England to find Avram and speak to. Or in an opportunistic manner, find him somewhere and speak to. But these are people who never supported us. And I confronted some of them. Said, you didn't support this whole thing. Today, we don't have to depend on traditional media for everything. Almost everyone has a handle somewhere across social networks. Some of you never said a word about the All-Star Festival. But is it because it's coming from an Escranton? Is it because it's coming from our stable, the BAC group? But do you know that as consultants, we're working with consultants? Michael, you are one of them because I treat people who have got some expertise, have got some experience, have been around, have got network as consultants. And we work with them. It's not like we're even paying you, we're paying you a lot of money because we're at that point where we're still building.
Yeah.
But the point is, we had all these media people, and some of them decided to join the bandwagon 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, and they'll be calling, Doc, we want to be part. And I say, come on, Mike, if we got a lot more support than we got from media people who are icons in this country, media people who have got the following, who have got the credibility, who have got, rather than wait for the thing to unfold in a certain way and say, now we're getting on board. It was disappointing. One of the biggest challenges we had, probably, when we started our countdown, 43 days, we started countdown 43 days, because you see, we needed to take everything by the scruff of the neck and try to do things on our own. Because we went to all the media houses. We came here. We came to you to say, can you help us? We don't have the funds because what we're doing is extremely capital intensive. We don't have the money. We did the first edition last year and we've got debts hanging around our neck. We're still not paid. I'm sure there are people who are watching me now and are saying, oh, we need our money. This guy still has our money. It's true. But I was making reference to say the Ghana Music Awards, for instance. It's 24 years old and many are happy to associate with it. But I remember when it started, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, there were people who will not and castigated the people behind it. You are using the artist talent to make money for yourself, etc. No, without doing the analysis, how that contributes to improving the industry, the music industry. Just like in this case, to deepening the business of football. No. So media people just didn't support us. Maybe if they had from the beginning, would have gotten corporate Ghana to believe that, this is possible. So let's support them. And I use this opportunity to say a big thank you to people like Twelium, Kendrick and his team, Kendrick, Scott, and Cleland. When these guys got to know about what we're doing, Cleland just put a phone call through to these people. And Kendrick, without meeting me, Scott, without ever meeting me, just said, it looks like there's prospect in this. And I take the opportunity to apologize to these guys if there have been any infraction, any mishap, anything. Because we don't take for granted the support they've given us. Because, Michael, out of nothing, they just said, we'll get on board this, we'll help you. And aside everything they gave to us, they also supported us to brand, made products available, etc., etc. So thank you, Twelium. Thank you to the other people who helped us. We Power Authority, very scanty, but at least they did something. It was very disappointing what they decided to send to us. Very disappointing. But in the end, they did something. We're still waiting for Middle Belt Development Authority, Joseph Kuma McKay and his team, because they approved something. We're waiting for it. We've got bills to pay. I am sorry I'm doing this on your platform, but